Village Board for Monday, September 21st, 2020. Before beginning the meeting and introducing our village clerk, I would like to read a statement of explanation regarding our board meeting, which is, as everybody knows, virtual. Until further notice, meetings of the Skokie Village Board will be held electronically, with a majority of village officials participating via remote access in order to comply with the State of Illinois gubernatorial disaster proclamation. Members of the public who wish to comment as to an item on the published agenda or to comment during public comments must submit their statement or question in writing to the village manager's office, and all properly submitted statements or questions will be presented and read during the relevant portion of the meeting. Written comments may be submitted by email to citizencomments@skokie.org, by mail to the Village of Skokie Village Manager's Office, 5127 Oakton Street, Skokie 60077, or via the village's drop box located just by the public entry of Village Hall. And with that, it's my pleasure to introduce our village clerk, Pramod Shah, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The meeting will come to order, and the clerk will please call the roll.
Trustee Roberts,
Here.
Trustee Sutker,
Here.
Trustee Ulrich,
Here.
Trustee Bromberg,
Here.
Trustee Klein,
Here.
Trustee Gray Keeler,
Here.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Here we have a quorum. The next item is approval of the consent agenda. Request has been made to remove A under the village manager's report and A under the corporation council. A motion to approve the consent agenda is in order. Trustee Klein, seconded by Trustee Ulrich. Are there any other items anybody would like to have removed? If not, call the roll, please.
Trustee Roberts,
Aye.
Trustee Sutker,
Aye.
Trustee Ulrich,
Aye.
Trustee Bromberg,
Aye.
Trustee Klein,
Aye.
Trustee Gray Keeler,
Aye.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Aye, the motion passes. The first report this evening is from our village manager, John Lockerbie.
Thank you, Mayor Van Dusen and the Village Board. Good evening, everyone. Item A is regarding a purchase of one fire engine fleet, number 103, engine 16, Pierce Enforcer pumper from Pierce Manufacturing, McQueen Emergency, based in Aurora, Illinois, for $723,355. Pricing for the subject item was obtained competitively through the Houston-Galveston Area Council Joint Government Purchasing Program. The village is an active member of this joint purchasing program and has purchased equipment through the program in the past. The chassis selected by the village will provide improved durability, functionality, safety, and dependability. It is recommended that a contract be awarded to McQueen Emergency. This joint purchasing's awarded contractor for Pierce equipment and the amount of $723,355. In addition, if there is a motion for approval, considering there's a second fire apparatus item on the agenda this evening, I've asked Fire Chief Jeff Hoflick to make a few comments about the corrosion that we've been experiencing with some of our fire apparatus, and Pierce has been experiencing with some of the fire apparatus across the country, and for Max Slanker, Director of Public Works, to make a few comments about the condition of our fleet in general. And with that, I concur with staff's recommendation and respectfully request mayor and board approval.
Motion is in order. trustee Gray Keeler, seconded by trustee Sutker.
Fire Chief Jeff Hoflick, if you would.
Good evening, everyone. I have Battalion Chief Bill Andre with me. He's the automotive work group leader, and he's been working on the specs for that engine with the committee. They've done an outstanding job. So in case there's specific questions, I invite him to be with me. As far as the corrosion issues, it's kind of been an ongoing issue that we identified a couple of years ago, and we've been working diligently with Automotive Division to get these apparatus repaired. So some corrosion repairs, frame replacements on 2 engines and the truck. That's been highly successful. Truck 18 recently was refurbished, and that should be due back the 29th, I believe. So we're excited about getting that picked up. And then the next apparatus, the last one that was scheduled for refurbishment is Squad 18. We anticipate them starting with that apparatus right away, and with a return or a completion period around January for that refurbishment.
And so in general, the village has found that refurbishing the fire apparatus extends their lifespan and is a better investment for the village than just replacing apparatus with new. And so it extends the lifespan quite a bit. And then the corrosion really has been experienced across the country from Pierce. It seems that we have some older models that didn't have the issue, and then we have some models within a certain number of manufactured years that really have had a corrosion problem, and then newer pieces have not had it. And so because of that kind of window of some negative experience, Pierce has done a good job in meeting us with not requiring us to pay for all of the repair work associated with the corrosion. And so I think the fire department, in conjunction with Public Works and the assistant village manager, has done a really nice job in investing our dollars and maintaining the fleet. And so I've also asked Max Slankard to give us a little bit of overview of the condition of the fleet in general.
Yeah, sure, I'd be happy to. Good evening, everyone. You know, in general, I'd say the condition of the fleet is very good, to be quite honest with you. Of the big 3 departments, of course, that's police, fire, and public works. But the operating department with the biggest challenges, as Chief Hoflick alluded to over the last few years, has been the fire department. So with the completion of the refurbishments and the replacement of the frame rails that have been done in the last few years, we are really, I think, on the cusp of having the fire department be in a much better position than they have been for the past few years. And it has been, you know, a significant issue. It's occupied a lot of Captain Andre's time and Jeff's time and a lot of automotive staff time and some angst, to be honest with you. So we'll be very happy to achieve this new level of service from the fire apparatus. Speaking more broadly to the village fleet, you know, of the other 2 primary operating departments, I would say the public works fleet's in very good condition, and the police fleet is as well. We do have some challenges with respect to our funding level. We have targeted an annual fleet replacement funding level of about $2.2 million for the last probably 6 to 7 years. I think we set that figure. Over the last few years, we've fallen short of that figure, and in a time of COVID financial issues, we're going to continue to have some challenges in that regard. I would say the positive to that is I think our fleet overall entered into this environment in a very good position. So there will be challenges ahead from a financing standpoint. I would say as well, I think the 3 operating departments have worked together very well and very collaboratively in terms of how we prioritize equipment for replacement. I think in many organizations, some of those decisions might be top driven by the village manager, perhaps telling you what your priorities are or what you're going to do. But in the Skokie process, typically the police chief, fire chief, and my staff meet together, and we put all the equipment replacements out there and the replacement schedule out there, and then we talk through them all together and sort of come up with a consolidated priority of what's the highest priority for replacement. given a target dollar value that we might have. And frankly, we play then certain scenarios of certain funding levels. And if our funding level is X becomes Y, what then gets reduced? So I think it's worked very well. And I would say no tension level amongst departments about, who's won something or lost something. I think we all take a very holistic view to the whole process, and it's worked very well.
Comments or questions? Trustee Sutker.
Well, since you brought up the refurbishing, it says that there's been a lot of workload challenges for this, for Pierce's Midwest Regional Refurbishment Center, and I was just wondering if you could talk about, is that because of COVID, or is that because of something else that makes it hard to get these refurbishments done in a timely manner?
Sure, that's a good question. Actually, it's a multi-answer too. So we're not the only fire department that experienced some issues with corrosion. It's actually been a large-scale regional situation. And we're very happy with the solutions to that corrosion issue as far as replacing the frames, galvanized frames, undercarriage work that's gonna give a much better life to our fleet. But since it's been a regional issue, then Pierce has kind of backed up on it, and their refurbishment plant was quite backed up. So even though we took action right away to get the truck in, the earliest we could get the truck in was just this past January. So it hasn't been really out. It didn't take 2 years for that work to be done. It's just that by the time we can get that apparatus in, it took a long time to get to that point. Same thing with the squad. We had taken action to get the squad in for estimates and et cetera, and it just took a while because their plant was backed up. What complicated it further then was they had a fire in one of their plants that does the aerial repairs. So they actually removed the aerial off the apparatus. They sent it to a different plant to be completely stripped down and refurbished. They had a fire in that plant, which slowed the process down in the truck a little bit. And then, of course, COVID did impact them like it impacted everyone else. So, but things are back on track for the most part, and we're very excited that the squad's finally getting in to get refurbished.
Thank you.
Trustee Roberts.
I think Chief and Max, you answered most of my questions. Thank you. I just think I and our residents appreciate when you have expensive apparatus like these, that you really are good stewards and you're trying to hit the sweet spot between your expenditures, but making the right investments to make the equipment last longer. So I appreciate your efforts, and I'm impressed that I'm happy to see how the different departments of the village work together on this, and you're not seen as taking each other's goodies. So it's a good thing, and I appreciate your efforts, Chief.
Thank you. And I can't say enough about working with Max and Gene. Seriously, Gene Shear, him and Bill have an excellent working relationship. They work together more on a daily basis to get these issues resolved. So really, those two deserve way more credit than I do.
Call the roll, please.
Trustee Roberts,
Aye.
Trustee Sutker,
Aye.
Trustee Ulrich,
Aye.
Trustee Bromberg,
Aye.
Trustee Klein,
Aye.
Trustee Gray Keeler,
Aye.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Aye. Excuse me, the motion passes.
Items B, C, and D were approved as part of tonight's consent agenda, and that completes my report.
Thank you. The next report is our Corporation Counsel, Michael Lorch.
Thank you, Mayor, trustees. Good evening to everyone. Item A is an ordinance which is on the agenda for board action tonight. The first reading on this ordinance was on September 8th, 2020. The ordinance will formally approve and authorize the disposition of Skokie-owned property for its sale and transfer of title for for the new 8,000 North development. On February 20, 2020, this board approved a village resolution number 182R1386, which authorized the development agreement with 8,000 North LLC, now known as MDG 8,000 North Lincoln Owner LLC. I correct that date to be February 20, 2018 of the initial approval. The development agreement authorized the sale and transfer of title of 8013 Floral Avenue and 8,000 Lincoln Avenue, previously known as 5114 to 5120 Oakton Street here in Skokie, to the developer in the amount of $1,500,000. This particular ordinance will complete the disposition of that property. As an update, since our initial reading 2 weeks ago, we are pleased to confirm that, as expected, the Wintrust Bank approved the construction loan for MDG 8,000 North Lincoln Owner LLC. And that loan is projected to be perfected for a closing at the end of this month, right now set for September 30. Further, I note that the project is still expected to take 14 months, which was always the projected time frame to complete the residential tower, which would bring completion somewhere before the end of the year 2021, 14 months from now. Finally, for clarity, I note that within the development agreement that's attached to the ordinance for tonight, there are some blanks. Those blanks are intentional and on purpose. They will not be filled in until the closing and the time of execution of the amended agreement. But it's important to note that all the financial amounts that obligate the village in any way are set forth and they are capped. And therefore, there is no additional dollars that would be required at the time of signing. It's simply a matter of clarification at the point of closing. Mayor, I would request board action on this ordinance tonight.
A motion on an ordinance for the sale of property, 8013 Floral Avenue and 8,000 Lincoln Avenue is in order. Trustee Gray Keeler, seconded by Trustee Ulrich. Trustee Roberts.
Thank you, Michael, for your report. I appreciate the up-to-date information. I'm sure our residents are very interested. So given all this and the closing date, would you expect the developers will begin construction then shortly thereafter the closing?
Yeah, as we know, nothing motivates a developer more than having a loan that they have to pay on immediately. So as soon as the closing takes place and they're obligated on their loan with Wintrust, they will be out there quickly because they want to get the building up, done, and occupied. So
Great.
Whether it's September 30th as currently set or a few days later, sometimes closings, as we all know from buying or selling maybe a home or something in our lifetime, sometimes those dates slide a little bit, but I would imagine that they'll be out there eager in October getting this building going.
Great.
Call the roll, please.
Trustee Roberts,
Aye.
Trustee Sutker,
Aye.
Trustee Ulrich,
Aye.
Trustee Bromberg,
Aye.
Trustee Klein,
Aye.
Trustee Gray Keeler,
Aye.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Aye, the motion passes.
Items B and C are ordinances which were on the consent agenda at the beginning of this evening's meeting and were adopted at that time. Item D is a request for an executive session in accordance with paragraph 2C11 of the Illinois Open Meetings Act pertaining to the review and discussion of pending litigation. Mayor, I would request board action on this request for tonight.
A motion on an executive session for this evening is in order. trustee Roberts, seconded by trustee Gray Keeler. Call the roll, please.
Trustee Roberts,
Aye.
trustee Sutker,
Aye.
trustee Ulrich,
Aye.
trustee Bromberg,
Aye.
trustee Klein,
Aye.
trustee Gray Keeler,
Aye.
Mayor Van Dusen.
Aye, the motion passes.
That would complete my report for tonight, Mayor.
Thank you. The concluding item is citizen comment. I'm advised there were no citizen comments. Is that correct? One item I would like to conclude with this evening, and I want to thank our village clerk, our corporation counsel, and our Cook County Commissioner, Larry Sufferton, for the hard work that they've put in helping make arrangements for early voting. Much of this information is already being disseminated, but let me just quickly review for those who are tuning in this evening. There will be 3 types of early voting. There is the mail-in ballot. I believe just about everybody has been mailed, all residents have been mailed the opportunity to do the mail-in ballot. So if you haven't received it at home, you can get in touch with our clerk who will give you information, or you can go to the Cook County clerk, is that right?
Yes.
Cook County clerk, to get the information on how to apply if you wish to do mail-in. If you also would like, there is the opportunity to take the ballot, which you can receive, and rather than returning it in the U.S. Postal Service, there will be early voting drop box. That box will be located in the parking area at Oakton Community College, 7701 Lincoln Avenue, here in the village of Skokie. Voters may drop the ballots off at this location 24 hours a day, beginning October the 19th and running through November the 2nd. Ballots will be collected daily by the Cook County Clerk's office. In addition, a third way of voting early is also available for residents. To allow for greater social distancing, the early voting in-person site has been moved from Village Hall to Oakton Community College, 7701 Lincoln Avenue, room P103-P104. The entrance and exit doors are numbers 22 and 23, just off the main parking area at the Skokie campus. The early voting period is from October the 19th to and through November the 2nd. Monday through Friday, the voting will be open from 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. and on Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I want to thank Oakton Community College and our high school district as well for their cooperation in making all of this available. Oakton Community College has been very helpful in helping us get this going, and we're hoping that we will be able to get a maximum vote Village of Skokie and areas around the village as well. It's taken a lot of effort, and again, I want to thank our village clerk, Pramod Shah, our corporation counsel, Michael Lorge, and our Cook County Commissioner, Larry Sufferton, as well as the Cook County Clerk's Office. The clerk's office has come out on a couple of occasions. They've walked through, and I think it looks like There can be no complaints about the opportunity to vote. And I might point out, of course, if anybody wishes, you can always vote on Election Day, Tuesday, November the 3rd, in your individual precincts. If anybody wishes any further information, please feel free to call Skokie Village Hall and ask for the village